So this video is probably going to be titled something like why video games aren't fun anymore or something like that. And checking out this kind of content that's out there on the web, a lot of it has to do with video game burnout and a lot of people experiencing not having fun with video games from a burnout perspective. And like, that's kind of a given, you know, if all you do is play video games, you're going to get burnt out eventually. So when I came across this video topic, video games aren't fun anymore, this is a sentiment that is expressed by a lot of people that I've spoke to nowadays, and I don't think it's because people are suffering from burnout. I think the quality of games has actually decreased significantly in recent years. And here I'm going to try to explain why that is the case. What's going on YouTube? My name is Dom, and if you're not familiar with me, this is my channel and this is where I post things. Subscribe, like the video. Firstly, if you're like me, you're someone who's played video games for quite a long time. And if you're also like me, you don't play too intense anymore. I used to play like 4 or 5 hours a day given. It's much more casual now, you know, you got more shit to do. But however, when I am playing these games, I'm not experiencing the same level of fun or excitement or enjoyment that I used to experience when playing games. I even went back to some old games. Thank God for Game Pass, because they have a lot of cool stuff on Xbox Game Pass, right? And I went back to these old games that I was playing, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Fight Night, and I'm having fun on those games like I remember. But I'm not having as much fun on the new one, and I wanted on new, but I'm not having as fuck, I can't speak. But I'm not having as much fun on the new games, and a lot of the people that I've spoke to are in the same boat as me. So why is this the case? So I'm going to try to look for objective measures of if games have gotten worse over time, and I don't believe it's a matter of opinion. A lot of people try to reduce these things to a matter of opinion. Well, you just think today's games are lower quality or whatever, right? So it's just a matter of opinion. If you like new games and you don't like old games, or you like old games and you don't like new games, it's not just a matter of opinion. If you know me, you know anything about this channel, I hate matters of opinion because matters of opinion are kind of bullshit. When assessing the quality of something, matter of opinion is the only metric we have for assessing whether if something is better or not. There is an objective measure we can use, and that's the conglomeration of opinions. So there's a few questions that this video is going to try to address. Are the quality of games decreasing? Has competitive play made online games more challenging? Or are we as a people changing and culture just changes and what we like changes? What option is there for why games seem to be worse off nowadays than they were in the past? So when I went out to do research for this video, I wanted to see what others have thought about, and I found an interesting article written by the prestigious journal known as Games Radar. That's a joke. So this article was written in 2014, and it goes over how games have gotten worse over time. Now keep in mind that this article takes place in 2014, and it was released in a very good year for games. When looking back, you had things like Evil Within, Wolfenstein: The New Order, Destiny, Alien Isolation, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Titanfall, for Christ's sake, and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, you know, which was torn apart when it was released, but now we kind of look back at Advanced Warfare with a little bit of positive sentiment. You know, once we saw where the rest of the Call of Duties went, Advanced Warfare doesn't seem so bad, does it? What was interesting about this article is it mentions how games have become too easy over time, and that's why they've gotten worse. It names aim assist, overly cinematic stunts, and the overuse of ADSing, and I'm not joking, as examples of why games have gotten easier. But weirdly, the article mentions that in 2014, one of the ways that games have gotten worse is that they added too much content. So in 2014, this Games Radar article was bitching about too much content? Holy crap. So what does that say about modern gaming? When we have Call of Duty Vanguard and you can get thousands of weapon skins, operator skins, weapon charms, kill cam skins, bundle this, bundle that, emblems, calling cards, clan awards, and who knows whatever the fuck else you could buy in that game. So what was this article's main complaint? That developers were focusing too much on content and not enough on quality. So we have to ask the question, have games decreased in quality over time? Things have only gotten more jam-packed with content since the writing of this article, but does more content necessarily mean that quality is going to decrease? Not necessarily. It is so hard to answer this question because a lot of factors would need to be elaborated on and tested. For instance, you know, how did gamers enjoy first-person shooters in 2014? How do they enjoy games now? Is it the same demographic or younger gamers? Is culture changing? And even if you answered all of these questions, it wouldn't really tell you if games have decreased in quality, only that people don't enjoy games as much for whatever reason. So now let's go ahead and look at gaming as a whole as it stands today. The gaming industry has noticeably been gaining steam, no pun intended. The entire industry right now is valued at about $86 billion, and that's just in the United States. But over 85% of this revenue comes from free-to-play games, and about 50% of gamers have made some sort of microtransaction in the past year. If you're looking at these numbers from a developer point of view, it would seem like free-to-play games are the way to go. And if free-to-play is the way to go, then we can make a reasonable argument that yes, free-to-play games are just not as good in terms of quality as paid games. They come with much less content than a $60 or even a $70 price tag, usually. If free-to-play games are on the rise, then we can definitely answer yes to the question if game quality is decreasing in general, because you have a higher ratio of free-to-play games to paid games. This shift in the market also explains why more companies are opting for store-bought content rather than quality game production. You get more money, so you're just focusing more effort into free-to-play games. You know, before Warzone became a thing, I think Call of Duty was better off. It seems like now they're splitting all of their attention and they're putting it like half-ass to every single part. You're doing half-ass zombies, you're doing half-ass multiplayer, and you're doing half-ass free-to-play Warzone. So you're just splitting up your attention too much. What's also interesting is if we take what we know about economics, and this is in no way an economics channel, but the basics of capitalism dictate that profits must be increased quarter after quarter, even if quality goes down the shitter. So then a new question for a different time might be, why are gamers in general shifting the market so that worse games are more profitable? You're making more money off of a free-to-play piece of shit like Warzone than you are off of a $60 price tag, or even something like Last of Us 2 or Horizon Forbidden West or whatever the hell the new single-player games are. So back in the day, between like 2008 and 2012, COD was king. You know, it was in its heyday. When it comes to the best Call of Duties out there, almost everyone unanimously agrees that the top 5 best Call of Duties are Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and the 5th can be up for debate, you know, maybe BO3, maybe 4, maybe Ghosts, whatever floats your boat. And this isn't just me shooting out my ass here either. Look up an online poll for the best Call of Duties and drop it below if you find different results than what I just told you. But it might surprise you to find out that these most popular Call of Duties are also the best-selling Call of Duties. The best-selling Call of Duty of all time is Black Ops 1, followed by Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, Ghosts, and Black Ops 3. In fact, the more recent the Call of Duty, the worse it sells in general. So then, it appears that people are speaking with their wallet. The best games sell the most. But here's the kicker. The best games don't necessarily make the most, because profit can now be made from an online store, not just the upfront price tag. We seem to have concluded at this point that the best Call of Duties are behind us, as there is not much financial incentive to focus on quality gameplay when more money is made from free-to-play aspects like Warzone. It is also shocking to discover that free-to-play forms such a large market in the video game area, despite the dip in quality that is often accompanied with free-to-play. It's no secret that free-to-play games take some shortcuts when it comes to things like smooth movement, in-depth gameplay, and overall functionality. In a weird way, us as consumers are choosing lower quality products to replace higher quality ones when we purchase skins and content for our free-to-play games and refuse to purchase titles with a $60 upfront cost. In general, gamers are choosing lower quality products and communicating to companies that they want more of them. So we have definitely answered the question that yes, on the whole, video games have definitely decreased in quality, or at least the video game industry has decreased in quality. You know, back in 2014, mention the words free-to-play or battle royale, and I don't think anybody would know what you're really talking about. However, this doesn't necessarily address the question why people like me are enjoying the same type of games less and less. Why would Call of Duty Vanguard be much less enjoyable than Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2? Now, of course, I'm not going to focus on single-player games for this portion of the video because these types of games don't really fall prey to the same issue as online games. You don't really have free-to-play campaign stories. There are a couple of them out there, but they're not as big as online free-to-play. And for some reason, single-player games seem to be staying the same in terms of quality reception. You only have to think of things like Red Dead Redemption 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn, and God of War. I'm not just a PlayStation fanboy here either. You know, I swear it's just that PlayStation has has done a really good job in the past few years, but looks like Xbox should be changing that tide. So why do our experiences in online games seem to be going down the shitter? Well, if it's not due to the quality issues that I outlined earlier, and those could be some serious detriments to your online experience if your shit feels free to play, ooh, I hate free to play. So if it's not due to that dip in quality, there are some other possibilities. Firstly, my own theory is that gamers have just been playing online games for a very long time by now. It was only a matter of time before the average skill level of players increased across the board. So in Modern Warfare 2, you had way more scrubs running around than you do now because that style of online first-person shooter was very new compared to Call of Duty's coming out today. I mean, now Call of Duty's been around for 15 years? No, longer. I'm just thinking COD 4, but it's been around even before that. So you've had a lot of practice. Furthermore, I mean, competitive gaming has been growing like crazy alongside the regular gaming market. Year after year, competitive tournaments rake in more and more money, and more people are making a living playing video games, even not playing competitively, just streaming or something, or just streaming or doing YouTube or something like that. Without a doubt, this must drive an increase in player skill as more people are trying to become professionals. I mean, think about it. How many times have you been playing and you see YT or TTV in someone's gamer tag? I see that shit all the time. It's so easy to stream snipe when people do that. It's like, hey, why don't you stream snipe me? I got TTV in my name. Ugh. The only difficulties with this theory are that it makes sense on paper, but we have no way of knowing if it is true. You know, we would have to analyze things like a player's reflexes, quick decision-making ability, and other things that are just impractical to do on a large scale and impossible to conduct on players from 15 years ago. The only thing that we can say is that it makes sense. Our second theory is really just to take an individualized approach to each franchise and see if each one has dipped in quality over time. There's no question that Battlefield has, and there's pretty much no question that Call of Duty has too, but to really get to the nitty-gritty of those franchises would take a lot of work. You could sit down and analyze each game, its maps, weapons, spawns, etc., and decide if that game makes it difficult to succeed inherently. Unfortunately, who the fuck can do this? And for each franchise, there's just too much, and you would have to know each franchise in and out to even make an accurate assessment of that. So it's better just to say, on the whole, games have decreased in quality, and you can make the case for an individual franchise if you're educated on that topic. So we've answered 2 of our 3 original questions, or we at least addressed them. The last one that I can think of is, are we as a culture changing? And to be honest, I really only threw this question into the mix because it's something that always has to be considered when you're doing discussions of this type. You have to consider the impact that culture has on everything within it. You know what I mean? So think of this as an example. I was super into Fight Night back on the PS2 days. I love Fight Night. I think it was like round 3 or round 4, round 15. Something like that. But I used to play the crap out of Fight Night. One reason I loved it was because around that time that I was playing those games, you had boxing movies coming out. I'm not sure if you guys remember things like Resurrecting the Champ or The Fighter or Creed, the first one. You know, but stuff like that really kept my interest in boxing games going. Hollywood doesn't really make boxing movies too much anymore. So could that be a reason that there aren't boxing games coming out? That's definitely a possibility. There's probably a reason that Madden and other sports games release in the fall, you know, right around the start of the season and when sports hype is really, really high. So culture, outside influences definitely have an impact on video game trends. They just do. I mean, think about what trends existed when Modern Warfare 2 released. Do you remember how many linear-ass single-player games existed at that time? Open world was not nearly as popular as it is now. If you're going to make a single-player game now, it has to be open world in some aspect. I can't even think of a linear single-player game nowadays, but those used to be the fucking norm back then. Do you remember that? Like, every single-player game was like the same. They sucked. And this point is not to be taken too seriously. Of course, we know culture changes video game trends. How? I don't know. That would be a great topic for a paper, but I'm not going to write that. So this is really just thrown in there just to kind of get those wheels thinking and just to consider all the options that are available. And we cannot just limit, and I want to emphasize the point again one more time, that we cannot just limit this to matters of opinion. Because when you're talking about matters of opinion, that's our only way of figuring out the quality of something. So, I mean, if you think about it, like if you're going to rank which candy is the best candy, Well, what you would do is you would get people together that have had a lot of different candies and have them try different candies and then rate them. But they've had experience with every candy. If you've had experience of old games and you've had experience of games now, you are in a place, hopefully, to make an accurate assessment of which games were better. And then we can figure out, on the whole, which games do most people prefer. And I think at least from my demographic, the people that I speak with, we prefer older games. They just play better. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Was there anything I missed? Was there flaws in my reasoning? Please point that out to me. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.